This is my tenor ukulele. This was an inexpensive tenor ukulele kit I bought off Amazon. This is the assembly video, part 1. Hi folks, so we've got a building one. The next two videos I'm going to do no synthesizers in this one, or I say all guitars, but well, a ukulele is a kind of guitar. So this is an Ammoon tenor ukulele kit that you can buy. Well, I bought mine from Amazon. There are probably other places you can buy them. I just thought I'd do, after making my lyre, I thought it'd be interesting to do another kit build. If you don't want to watch the full set of videos, I'll just give you a rundown now of my sort of conclusions. So on the plus side, these are relatively inexpensive. These come in about £30, $30, €30, depending on where you are in the world. That's a plus. It's actually turned out looking pretty nice, I think. With fairly minimal effort, as you'll see in the video. Doesn't require any serious woodworking, so that's another thumbs up. And it does actually have a nice resonant body, and it sounds fine. It sounds fine. So there's a thumbs up for that. On the thumbs down, there were parts missing, and the parts with a lot of the metal parts, like the all of this kind of stuff, was just loose in the box. So it may have been complete in the factory, and then once it shipped probably from China, I'm assuming it came from China, parts got lost perhaps, or they just didn't go in at the factory. So that's a thumbs down for that. There are no instructions in the box, although it's quite a simple build. Like I did a whole video about bridge positioning, but that would have been super helpful. That would have saved me a lot of time. So it's a thumbs down for no instructions. The strings weren't labelled. I ended up getting just a new set of strings, probably a bit higher quality strings. But if you didn't want to do that, I don't necessarily know how easy it would be to know what strings you were, because the ukulele is a tricky one. So there's like a high G and then it goes down to a low C. It's not like a guitar where it's just like from super thick to super thin. So that's a thumbs down, and there's no neck peg. So where the neck meets the body, in some kits, there'll be a little peg that helps secure that. This is literally all just held together with super glue. So that's a thumbs down for that. So I don't know, there's probably a few companies where you can get a ukulele kit. So it's not looking too good for the Ammoon kit. I got to say, I'm not being paid, not being sponsored. I should say that. So yeah, and the parts missing is a real killer, because if you want to have a really fun weekend project with the kids, and then you get close to the end and you realise it's actually these parts here are missing. That's a real pain in the butt. So there you go. But I'm happy with how it's come out. I've never done a ukulele kit, but I'm pretty happy with the results. So there we go. Let's dive into the build. Any questions, put them below. I'll do my best to answer. Cheers. Alrighty, new year, new project. Happy New Year, everybody. Although by the time I finish this, it'll probably be mid-February. So building the little lyre kit was fun. So we've got a new kit build. This is essentially a gift from my family. No pressure then. So the actual kit is much smaller than the Amazon box. Okay. This is a tenor ukulele kit. So we've got one finished, fairly rough body. That's not very. That looks a bit there. But that's going to be covered, isn't it, by the bridge? little sort of staples. So this will need a boatload of sanding. These 3 tuners are in it just loose. Everything's loose in the box actually, apart from this bag that's made to come open. In this bag we got the strings not labelled, so there's a bit of guesswork there, and the bridge. And then, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 tuners, which is the right number. Strap buttons. What is that? Everything's loose in the box. These little bits of felt for the strap buttons. 2 screws. Can't believe this is all loose in the box. That's a bit amateurish. And then a tiny nut. Yeah. And a plastic bridge. My phone's telling me it's low on battery, so it's about to die on me. That's the headstock, neck, again, rough, but that's okay, that can be all sanded up. Wow. Fretboard. The fretboard is actually pretty nice. So, yeah, tenor ukulele. Are there instructions? There are no instructions. I guess the only instructions one needs are the placement of the bridge, because that's going to affect the intonation, I would imagine. So I need to go online and find some tenor ukulele plans. I guess the placement of the fretboard will essentially line the nut up at the top and then line the fretboard up, I imagine. Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly easy build, right? A couple of days work. Yeah, cool. Let's see. Job number 1, I think we'll start with the neck. Just go through the sandpapers. 180, 240, 320. Just, yeah, I mean, I'll probably finish that in a bit of crimson custom oil, right, to give that a really nice kind of feeling. But I think, yeah, job number 1 is just get it all sanded down. I don't need to worry about this surface, because that's going to be obviously glued on. This, I don't know whether you can see, but it's just really sort of dirty and mucky. But if I sand that nicely, probably finish that either with the crimson oil or even just some linseed oil. That could look all right. Let's get started. This is the neck. I think I went up to 600 on that. Doesn't look too bad now. I think what I'm going to do now is finish this with linseed oil, I think, just to see how that turns out. I've always wanted to find out what a neck would look like with just linseed oil before doing the gluing the fretboard on. So that'll give me a bit more, I won't have to mask the fretboard, right? Yeah. All that muck from the factory is actually sanded out fine, and unlike the Lyre kit, there's not a lot of very deep tooling marks left in this. So it's sanded up. Sanded up without any problem. Okay, well, let's go for an update. So the first thing to show is I finished the neck just with a few. I've got about 4 coats of boiled linseed, and that looks fabulous. I really don't want to do any more with that. I mean, I could put some more coats of linseed on it, but that has come out really nice. And as a kind of neck, as a usable neck, that feels fine. That feels fine. So I'd be interested to do a guitar neck just with a boiled linseed. Maybe a maple neck with just boiled linseed. That could be super interesting. But yeah, feels good, looks good. So that's the neck. Let's just hang that back up. So I've been working on the body. I've just gone through the grits with that this morning. Put some water on it. Raised the grain. Finished it with 600 grit, and that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Compared to the lyre kit, much fewer tooling marks have been left on the wood, so it was a fairly easy sanding job. The only tricky bit, there's kind of this rosette is maybe burnt in with a laser, so it's kind of tricky because you can see that one there is a bit there. So it's kind of tricky. So I don't really know what to do with sanding around there, so I've tended to just sort of leave that. I've kind of filled the hole in. With sanded the hole. But yeah, so yeah, that's one issue. But I mean, it's not super rough. It's fine. It'll just feel a bit rougher, I guess, compared to other parts of the body. Now, the base. I'm just going to move the camera. Does feel a slightly peculiar. And if we just see this. So the back, look at that. You can see the movement there. It's quite bowed. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's bowed. Where you can see the movement there. Now possibly that's normal for a tenor ukulele or any kind of ukulele. I don't think it's going to be an issue really, because the important side is obviously we want to glue a bridge to this surface, and this surface is fine. Possibly, because I think I can see a line here. When I was sanding, I could see a line kind of here, so I think there's definitely a line here. So there's at least 1, 2, 3, probably 4 pieces of wood making up the top. So maybe there's less chance of bowing in these multiple pieces, but the back possibly looks like a single piece of wood, so there's maybe more chance of that bowing. I don't know. So that's possibly by design, but I don't think it's going to affect the sound. And as I say, where I'm going to glue the bridge, yeah, that's flat, so that's good. Obviously there's no peg hole for gluing in the bridge, and so it's gluing in the neck, and on the neck there's no pegs there. So I don't know whether to just get a bit of doweling and essentially create a little peg to help that neck go on. Otherwise it's just held on. Whoops. Otherwise it's just that surface. So obviously that makes a build considerably more challenging, and you could risk damaging the body and damaging the neck. So I don't know, I have to think about that. Just while we've got the body without its neck, I'll just sort of do a size comparison next to the baritone ukulele. So this is an Ortega baritone uke, and you can see that the baritone is considerably larger than the tenor. So that's just for size comparisons. And obviously the tenor is tuned similar to the soprano and the concert, whereas the baritone is obviously like the top 4 strings of a guitar. And then compared against my inexpensive, crappy ukulele, yeah, considerably bigger than that, as you'd expect for a tenor. Quick sound test. It's a nice resonant box, and I don't know if there's enough light for us to be able to see inside. You can see there is kerfing there. See the kerfing there. Yeah, I can't really see inside towards the back there. we go, as a view of the kerfing there, and some of the support sort of struts inside it. There we go. Because there are no instructions, I don't really know the best order to do things. I've been just taking a quick look at these frets on the fretboard, and this fretboard is surprisingly good. There's no real sort of frets that poke out higher than the others. Just done a quick sort of leveling test. So I think the only thing I'll do with that, I'll put some lemon oil on that while it's just off the rest of the neck. So that might be just a bit easier. That's a quick job to do. Then I think the next thing to do will be the glue up. I think the only difficult or tricky bit there is just, you know, measure where the nut will be, and then just make sure that's lined up, and then do the glue, or glue it overnight. That would be wrong. That would be too much. So it's just a case of measuring it. I think I'll measure it and then maybe just tape it or something. Quick update. We've just got the fretboard glued to the neck going on here. Just a few plastic clamps, and these are just an old leather belt that I bought from a charity shop that I've cut up, just so it doesn't make too much of a mess of the nicely prepped up neck. I mean, given that you've got to do this, maybe it's sensible to leave finishing the neck until you've got the fretboard on it, but as it happens, I didn't get a lot of glue squeeze out there, so there's not a lot to clean up there. Yeah, so also don't make the mistake I did. You don't actually need to glue this part of the fretboard, so it probably makes more sense to put the glue on the neck rather than the fretboard, because you can see here there's a layer of glue there. But I'll just scrape off that, do a quick sand before I glue that to the body. Well, I don't know whether that's going to glue onto the body or it's just that surface that will glue onto the body, but we'll see. I've also done a trace, just to trace the outline of the uke. It's just a piece of paper. So that should help me work out the bridge positioning, because I found some plans online. So hopefully I can make some measurements and try and get an accurate idea of where the bridge should go. Well, the linseed maybe absorbed into the leather, so I need to refinish these. Well, there we go. Yeah, there. That's unfortunate, but it's a quick and easy fix. In fact, I can do that now, because it won't take a minute. So, it does start to look like an instrument. So I think the peg thing, I won't do the peg, because let's get it on camera, I won't do the peg in the neck, because this surface and this surface will be adhering to the body. So it's actually quite a large gluing surface, and given this will only have nylon strings, not steel strings, that's probably enough. So the important thing to do is really get the centre line sorted on the body, so we can get the neck on properly. I mean, you can eyeball it, that's probably there. And then think of some way to clamp that. Crikey, starting to look like an instrument.